We're not just wiping noses and managing meltdowns, we're witnessing purpose unfolding in real time. So grab your coffee, your water, your juice box, whatever you've got, and let's reflect on the beauty of watching our babies become exactly who God designed them to be. Hey, hey, mamas. Welcome to the Solo Mama Show, your space for real talk, heart healing, and holy reminders that you're not just surviving motherhood, you're shaping lives. I'm Marylyne, solo mama, entrepreneur, believer, and proof that God can do a lot with just a little. Around here, we speak life, share truth, and hold space for every part of your story. In today's episode, we're hitting pause on the pressure and sitting in the awe. Because no matter how chaotic it gets, there's something incredibly sacred about being front row to your children's becoming. From first steps to first opinions, watching your kids grow into their voice, their human, their quirks, realizing that they're not just extensions of you, they are full humans with unique callings, and the joy of rediscovering the world through their eyes. I mean, my 4-year-old has taught me more about joy than any self-help book ever could. When I tell you that child was born happy, right? And I love that in both of them. Like, my kids are just annoyingly happy, like all the time. And it's so funny because while they are in so many ways literally replicas of me, when it comes to like my attitude, my personality, the things I do and do not like, they are what I call the upgraded version of me, the 2.0, because they are all that, but without fear. They are all that, but without restriction. And they are also the complete opposite of me in ways that are so important for their growth. I'm an introvert and I grew up shy. Like, I was always the quiet kid. I always kept to myself, but not in like a socially awkward way, because I was also like, captain of the cheerleading squad. I was, editor of the school newspaper. I was on the debate team. And for the most part, for being a quiet person, I was pretty popular in high school, because I was an athlete, but yet I was an academic. So I knew everybody. And also, most of the kids who went to the high school that I eventually graduated from all kind of grew up with each other. And I moved there as a junior. So like being the kid from out of town and then being from New York City and moving to, a different part of New York, it was like so cool to them. So that automatically kind of gave me like a little bit of a social boost for no reason. But my kids are the introverts that I never could be. And their lack of fear and their lack of withholding makes them, to me, like the perfect version of what I wish I could have been. And like getting to watch them come into those personalities, going back and seeing some of like the photos, like when you're doing like your birthday tributes or National Sunday or whatever, and you're going back and you're finding all the pictures, and I'm finding like the quirky poses and the silly faces, and I'm like, I would have never done that as a child, but they also are very much like me, in like the craziest ways. We had a little family get together the other day, and our home is perfect for us, but when there's a lot of people here, the seating arrangements have to change. So some of the rules that they know get broken. And what am I meaning? So you guys, if you've seen my home, you know that my living area is very much white. It's white with wood tones. And so they know that the living room is off limits. You do not sit on my couch. You do not definitely eat or drink in the living room. Like, it is not part of your house. It's part of my house. So, we have family sitting at the dining room table. We had family sitting at the kitchen counter. And so, I take my little sandwich, nothing that was going to make a mess, and I go sit in the living room. I'm on the couch, and Jagger walks up to me. He says, "Do we eat in the living room?" And I'm like, no. He's like, "Oh." Okay. That is so me. That is so Marylyne coded that all we could do is laugh. And then my cousins told me, because they were watching the boys for me, I had to take a quick trip. Um, and so they're like, whatever was happening, I don't know the full story, but Jagger came in and he was like, "Don't make a mess." Yup, yup, that's my baby. Cause that's me. Like, I don't like mess. I don't like I have, certain, it gives me anxiety. I'm a walking oxymoron. I love hosting family. I love hosting people. I love my house being filled. I love it being filled with love and people who care about us and whatever else. But it also gives me an immense amount of anxiety to have people sitting on my couch, to have people walking in my house with their shoes on, to have kids with their feet on my couch, and they're not my kids, so I can't just give them that look that says, "Get your," like, I can't do that, right? And they're jumping, and they all the things that my kids would never, because it's our house and they know. um I just kind of let slide, when people are here, and not because, like, I'm not upset about it. It doesn't actually hurt me. But my kids know, like, this is how mommy is. And so I just find it very funny because, kids, it's black and white with them. There's no gray. So Jagger's looking at me like, I didn't know we was allowed to eat on the couch. Must be nice. And I laugh at those things. Their humor, their little stories, like, growing into, it's one of those things where I really, even just think about it, I sit back in awe and I'm like, yo, we are literally watching them become whole humans with thought processes, and, like, their own little voice and their own little opinions, whether we always want to agree with them or not, and their own sense of, like, direction almost. Just watching the wheels move when they're thinking of something, and especially in the younger ages, but even more so when they find that voice in their teenagers, and there's that battle of giving them that autonomy and letting them express that voice, but also fighting the black mom in me who's like, I said what I said. This is a dictatorship, not a democracy. You know what I'm saying? And but it's still just such a joy. It's such an awe. And this past Sunday was the first time that Ethan invited a friend to church. And as a mom, that's a win. That's a win, because you're watching, like, and his friend asked about coming back to church with us. And there is no greater reward as a God-fearing Christian mom than to have my child almost be like, I'm gonna hype it up, a disciple. Okay, he is bringing people to Christ. And not saying that his friend doesn't have, like, a relationship with Christ. His parents did clearly allow us to bring him to church, but they don't go as regularly as we do. And so those are the little things where you're just like, things are sinking in. A couple weeks ago was Vacation Bible School, and it was during that same week that I was just telling you guys I had to go away for a little bit. I had Vacation Bible School at my church. Is not what we grew up with. It's not like camp, all day camp for kids. It's evening fellowship for the entire church, and it's a rather big church compared to what I grew up with, and they break us up into age groups, literally. So Jagger was with pre-K kids, Ethan was with the high schoolers, I was with the group called the young adults, and the young adult ministry in my church is so big that we have like 10 different young adult groups. That's besides the point. But it's from Monday through Friday, 1 week each summer. And I was home Monday through Wednesday. So I had already in my mind was like, all right, I'll take them Monday through Wednesday. We'll just miss Thursday and Friday, because I didn't want to bother and burden anybody with having to bring them. And Wednesday night, they're like, no, we really want to keep on going. And I'm like, you want to go to Vacation Bible School? Say less. Mama's going to figure it out. Right. And so that's what we did. I called, one of my cousins through marriage, her parents moved down here a couple years ago to help her with her child, and they become surrogate parents to me too, and likewise surrogate grandparents to my kids. And we all go to the same church. So literally just sent a text message like, hey, Mom, I'm going to be out of town. The boys really want to go to vacation Bible school. I didn't make a plan for this because I didn't think that they would want to, but can you pick them up and bring them? Yes, no problem. Just leave the car seat for me. Just like that. My kids get to continue vacation Bible school per their request. Tap myself on the shoulder because all I know is growing up, the boys in my family, you literally could not pay them to volunteer to go to church. But even through all of that, we have to remind ourselves that we get to be the witness, not the author. We have to, and trust me, this is another one of those moments where I'm giving y'all advice that I don't even want to take, but the reality is that it's the truth. Like, we have to start letting go of control and leaning into just guidance, especially as they get older, and trusting God with their journey, even when it looks different than yours and mine. And like, just watching your children make the choices and cheering them on, even through their mistakes or what you might deem a mistake, because God trusts you to be the one who gets to watch it all unfold, but He did not create us to be the ones to write their stories, right? And so our job, the role that we are given when God gives us our children, is to be their guide, to be their protector, and to be a vessel for which through us he can raise them to be who he needs them to be for the world that we're living in and whatever their future looks like. And while that is a very humbling thought, like, no, they're mine. And God, no offense, but I went through 36 hours of labor with the first one by myself, and then 72 hours of labor with the second one. Yep, 72 active full hours of labor with the second one. What you mean I can't? That it's not my story, that I just gotta watch and just let you do the work? They're mine, but they're not, right? Like, they are, but they're not. They're his, and he kind of just low-key let me borrow them so that so that there is someone physically here accountable accountable for them. Isn't that humbling? Isn't that like an amazing thought? Like, yeah, they're yours, but hold off because they're God's first. And you just got to trust him with their journey, and their journey is not supposed to look like yours. And in all actuality, that is also the most refreshing thought, because if I could do my journey all over again, 75% of it, especially like my teen and 20s, would look very different. Okay. And there's, even at 4, even at 15, their lives are already shaping out to be so much different, but better in many ways than mine was. And that is a beautiful thing. And it's just understanding that is what Christ's purpose is, and trusting that and letting go, and literally letting go and letting God. Now, not saying that don't raise these kids and it's like, oh, well, there's somebody else's problem, I just got to give them some place to live. No, we still have a job and a role. And while he is the director, we are the executive producer, or he's the executive producer and we're the director. Who creates and y'all know where I'm getting at, right? The executive producer, the person who produces it. Yeah, y'all know what I'm trying to say. I'm not in the entertainment industry. I don't know who does what. I just know that he has given us instructions. You know how we say that parenthood didn't come with a handbook? It did. It's called the Bible. Every handbook that you need in life, the relationship handbook, the marriage handbook, the parenthood handbook, the single handbook, the school handbook, that woman about to make me punch her in her face, the who did they think they were talking to handbook, it was all in one place. And you just got to find the index. And though it might not be the exact situation that you need, but there's always a story. And it's so funny how, thousands of years later, they're still relevant, but there's always a story that kind of makes sense for the situation that you're going through. And I will never take for granted the fact that I get a front row seat to every change. And from year to year, whether that's a physical or a mental, like, okay, the big one, Those are the bigger changes that are happening right now. This time last year, he was right here. I could put my hand on his shoulder and just not even without any, like, no stretch, no nothing. He was right here. I was also buying grade school sizes for his feet. Y'all, back to school. Why was I buying size 9 men's sneakers? Why is that boy eye to eye with me? He's not taller than me yet. But we right here. And I'm like, in the course of 11 months, 12 months. But that is physical growth. And then I'm listening to, like, for those of you who know, he has his own social media following and he loves to do get ready with me. His things is fashion. And he was in the room with me and we were listening to his get ready with me for the first day of school last year. And he did a get ready with me for his birthday. And when did we drop 4 octaves? Like, ew, how dare you? And it's just all of the smaller things, and just literally just being able to cheer them on from the front row and not miss any of it. That is a blessing that not all parents, even solo parents, we're working so hard and we're ripping and running and you're working 2 jobs and you're doing all the things that sometimes you have to miss things. God gave me the unique possibility to be able to show up for everything. I might have missed a couple of class trips when Ethan was younger, but I always had someone I could tag in, whether it was my brother, whether it was whomever, so he was never actually by himself. But every award ceremony, every sport, every class picture, like, parent night, whatever the case may be, he has graced us with the ability and the opportunity to be able to show up and watch and just kind of sit back and just be in awe of what he helped us create, or what we helped him create, and just watching them grow and just simply become. What a blessing it is to be able to parent with intentional awe. And that means just like slowing down enough to see them and not just manage them. Noticing the small moments that reveal who they're becoming and practicing gratitude for the ordinary miracles. Every stage is a story and you're not missing it. You're living in it. You're living through it. It's so easy to want to control every piece of everything, and I feel like so much more so we're geared towards that as solo parents, because every ball that's in the air, every dish that's being flipped, all of that needs to be caught by you, right? And so sometimes that comes into us trying to micromanage everything that they do, and there is such a blessing that comes in just being able to slow down for a moment and just watch them, right? And just see them, see who they are and how they are making their own decisions and how they're coming to their own thought process. And those little moments, I always joke that Jagger is either going to be a salesman or an attorney. Because even at 3 and 4 years old, the way he comes to certain thoughts, it's kind of funny. So let's say I say, hey, we've been having, for instance, right now he's 4.5, but we've been having a couple of moments where he's having accidents randomly, and they're not accidents because they're on purpose, if you ask me, but we're going to call them accidents, where he just rather not go to the bathroom. He'll just sit there, and then he just goes about his day when he's done. So if you don't notice the wet stain in his rear area, you wouldn't even know that he had wet himself. And so that is a big thing for us now. I'm like, but we're not a baby anymore. We've been potty trained for a year and a half, almost 2 years. Like, this is not something that we should be doing. Mama's very disappointed in you, right? So the next day he'll come and be like, Mom, did I have an accident today? I'm like, no. Did you? I don't know. Did you? He's like, no, I did not. So I can have ice cream, right? I see what you did there, because he didn't ask for the ice cream. He came first with the, okay, so this is what happened. And again, another one, and it's always the way that he thinks. So it's like, we were going through when we were going birthday shopping for Ethan's outfit. There's a Build-A-Bear in the mall. He is getting used to now getting Build-A-Bears. Ethan has a huge Build-A-Bear collection that we started when he was about Jagger's age. And now Jagger is starting to grow his own. So we went through Build-A-Bear just for him to see. I told him we weren't buying anything. Today was about Ethan. Today was about Big Brother. And he has discovered Pokemon. So there's a Pikachu there. And I'm like, well, no, we can't have it today because, we have to earn it or whatever. So every day for a week he came home and he was like, Mama, was I being a good boy today? I guess so. I don't know. I wasn't with you. Or he'll tell me, Mama, I did very good today. I was a very good boy today. I'm like, great. He's like, so we're going to get Pikachu, right? No, you didn't earn to Build-A-Bear because you were good for 1 day or 2 days. He's like, okay, so how many more days? Until the next time we go to the mall. But it's just so funny how he thinks at the end result. What is it that I want? And what do I know that she's going to want from me in order for me to get it? Okay, I'm not even going to ask for it. I'm just going to do those things and then remind her that, hey, X, Y, and Z. And I just think that's so incredible because how did your 4-year-old mind even wrap his head around that? Another example, and I know I'm leaning on him, and it's just really because at that young age, some of the things that their brain does is still wow, you could really think about that. I have a thing about dirty clothes and outside clothes and whatever being on the bed, right? So he'll come into my room and he'll be like, Mama, am I clean? What do you mean by that, baby? Well, I just got out the shower and I put on clean pajamas, so I think I'm clean. Yes, that means you're clean. Great, so I can get into your bed, right? Sure. Sure, because what else are you supposed to say? The logic is there because he didn't just come in and climb in my bed, or he didn't say, Mama, can I get in your bed? He reminded me that I know your rules. Your rules are no dirty people, no dirty clothes, no outside clothes. No, I just came from school. No, I did shower, but and I put clean clothes on, but I was just rolling around in my room, and now maybe I'm not as clean. He thinks about those things, and he's like, so I can give you a hug and a kiss and I can get in the bed because I'm clean. At this point, lady, I'm probably cleaner than you because I was the last one to get out the shower. That's literally how his brain functions. And I think that's hilarious. And I'm like, for you to have those type of high level thought processes, my baby got to be a lawyer or he going to sell you something because he already knows the answers before he gets into any situation. So those sometimes, not just society, but within ourselves, we find a lot of the negative in solo parenting. There is a gift that comes with solo motherhood because though you may be tired, you are present, right? You are doing motherhood. And there is a beauty in getting to know them so deeply because you've done the work alone, right? Every problem that they've had, every hurt, every joy, every accomplishment, they came directly to you with it because you are their person. And granted, I know that even in dual parent families, there is a preferred parent. But if mom is the one I usually run to, but she's not here right now, in that moment, dad is, I'm going to go talk to dad. Our children don't have that because it's just the one parent. But that means that I am their first for everything. And there's joy in that, right? They waited to see me first so that they can tell me whatever it is, whether it's because that teacher pissed them off and they needed to come and tell me first, whether it's because they needed something, whether because they were hurt, or whether because, Mom, look at this 100 that I just got, or Mom, look at this picture that I drew. Whatever it is, you were their person, you were their first thought, you got to share in all of that. And I didn't have to share that moment with anyone. Good and bad, right? There are moments where some of the positives, you're like, wow, it would have been nice to share it with someone. But on that very same side of the coin, it was this was my moment, my precious little second where they are all mine. This moment is ours. This core memory is something that they will have with me and they will carry with them forever. And Mama was there. Mama was a part of it. Mama was probably the best and major part of it. And how beautiful is that? There is so much honor in showing up every single day. And that doesn't mean that you're at 100% every day. We've talked about this, right? Even if you're physically at 80, they don't know that because you give them 100. Even if you actually are at a 10 because you got the flu, your head feel like the church drummer is just like all over your skull, but you still got up and you figured it out anyways. And they didn't even know that you were on the brink of death, that you literally couldn't breathe out of one of your nostrils and your throat felt like it was on fire. You got up and you did it anyways, and you're present and you're there to guide them, and you're celebrating every milestone and every big and small thing. And if you're anything like me, you make the small things feel big, because how incredible are you and how wonderful are you? And you're always going to know that mama loves you and mama is there for you in any capacity that we can. Mama, you're not just raising kids, you're witnessing greatness in the making. Your children will become who they're meant to be, but right now, they get to become in front of you. What a holy and beautiful gift. Don't miss it in the chaos, and don't forget, you're becoming too. You are still building who you are, and your story has not ended. It is developing right alongside of your children, and that is a wonderful, beautiful blessing. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5 says, "Before I formed you in my womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." If this episode reminded you that motherhood is sacred, not just stressful, send it to a mama who's in the thick of it. Thanks for tuning into the Solo Mama Show. As always, keep your crown high, the stack stocked, and I'll see you next week. Follow, share, and stay lifted, mamas. Love you. Bye.